What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and it's Sunday Fun Day, which normally means we will be talking about the cards that have gained the most in value on TCG Player over the last 7 days. However, if you watch that series every Sunday, you will notice that guess what? The image on the page in front of you today is the exact same one that was on it last week, and that's because womp womp, TCG Player did not send the information out this week. No worries, not mad at you, TCG Player, totally get that. And matter of fact, if I had to pick a week for that data not to come out, this would be the week because I am incredibly excited for this video. We're going to talk about Phantasmal Flames booster boxes, but we're going to talk about a lot more than just that. We're going to talk about cards. We're going to talk about pull rates. We're going to do some comparisons to Mega Evolution and Destined Rivals, and we're going to look at how those booster boxes performed from a pricing perspective because guess what? We're going to identify some patterns in the way these prices have moved, and we're going to find a lot of similarities between those two really hyped, really popular, really awesome sets and the way Phantasmal Flames is already acting prior to the official release on the 14th. And this is the exact type of data set that I love because you know how pumped I am about Phantasmal Flames. I've been talking about it for a very, very long time. And I need this type of stuff to ground me a bit because I will get overexcited. I will let emotions get the best of me here in the Pokemon space. And next thing you know, I'll be out there buying Phantasmal Flames booster boxes at $300 a pop when the data that we're going to look at here is a strong indicator that we need to relax a little bit and just let all of this play out. So the first thing that I want us to look at, and this is very simple right out of the gate, is just the price of Phantasmal Flames booster boxes ever since they became available on TCG Player. And the thing that I want us to take away from this right now is it started off right at about $345. And obviously when we talk about hype, Phantasmal Flames was ranked all the way up at 11. I mean, the hype for this set has been absolutely unreal. The 3 Charizard cards that are in there are absolutely lights out amazing. We've seen what's happening over in Japan. We expect things to be very similar over here in the US. So it made sense out of the gate that those booster boxes were going for such an astronomically high price, except what have we seen? Over the course of about a month and a half, the prices have been coming down. It's down 10% versus that $345 high. It's all the way down to about $309. And as we get deeper and deeper into this video today, I hope you're going to come to the same conclusion that I do, that it's got a little bit more room to fall, and I think that there's going to be some awesome buying opportunities here in the near future. So with that being said, I always got to give my selfish plug. So if you enjoy the video, if you like this data-driven approach, if you like understanding a little bit more of the why instead of just the what, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go such a long way in helping my small channel out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So now that we've looked at kind of like our jumping off point here for Phantasmal Flames, let's dive into Destined Rivals. Now, Destined Rivals was the final set in the Scarlet and Violet era. If you're watching this channel, you obviously are aware of that. And this was a wildly hyped set. Like, this was a set which had just as much hype leading up into it as Phantasmal Flames. And that is a high, high bar. But when we thought about the Team Rocket coming back in, the Mewtwo special illustration rare, like the depth of the set as a whole, like this was a very, very popular set with a whole lot of, I don't know, kind of like momentum behind it when it started to come out. And as you can see, when this was first available on TCGplayer.com, in order to pre-order it, it was all the way up at $350. Very, very similar to where we saw Phantasmal Flames have a jumping off point as well. So I thought that was a really cool takeaway. Now, if you watch this channel a lot, you know that I was saying, hey, listen, I am a big fan of Destined Rivals. I'm going to have a lot of it in the collection. Matter of fact, sitting behind me right now, I got a case of booster boxes and I have 2 loose booster boxes. So obviously I am a big, big believer in it. But what I said out of the gate was, let's just relax. Like, let's let some of this product hit the market. Let's let it flush out. Let's let all the people who are very, very excited to get their hands on it, and then we can wait a little bit. Now, we're going to look for indicators to give us the idea of when we should jump in. We never know when the exact bottom is, and we never know when the exact top is when the market is bullish, but we can find some patterns which let us know that this might be an opportune time. And as you can see, over the course of about 4 or 5 months, Destined Rivals booster boxes worked their way all the way down to $250. And it's crazy to say that all the way down to $250 for a brand new set with an MSRP of basically 165 bucks. Like, it's just the world that we live in. Supply and demand is out of whack. These things never stay in stock at MSRP. So yes, $250 was what I considered a very approachable price point for Destined Rivals. And then this thing absolutely shot up. Now, there's a little bit of an irrational spike there, so take that out of context. Just imagine that you could trend line it up from that $250 mark all the way up to the $380 price point where it sits today. And when you think about that, man, I mean, that is still significantly higher than where it started at. It was at $350. Now it's all all the way at 381, but again, in between those 2 points, we had a $250 low in there, which is very, very exciting, because as we look at the rest of these sets, we're going to see that there's some even more patterns that are saying maybe Phantasmal Flames will get that low, maybe it won't. I'm not 100% sold on it. I think the Charizard and how much money they're going for, maybe Phantasmal Flames won't get that low, but I think we have a significant way to go before we find out what a really approachable entry point is for Phantasmal Flames. Now, next thing I want to talk about right here is Mega Evolution, and I will be the first one to say this. I slept a little bit on Mega Evolution. I was very, very blinded by the big Charizard set that was on the horizon. I talked about it a ton on this channel, and I kind of overlooked Mega Evolution. And in a minute, we're going to look at the singles cards in that set, and we're going to compare them to what Phantasmal Flames is going to have. And when we look at those comparisons, I'm telling you right now, Mega Evolution can go toe-to-toe with Phantasmal Flames. Obviously, the Charizards are going to win from a chase card perspective, but from a breadth and depth perception, like, Mega Evolution is a fantastic set. And yet, when you look at the way the prices went, it came all the way up pre-release to $345. Again, that's right where Phantasmal Flames started. It's basically where Destined Rivals started. And look what's happened ever since. A little bit more of a choppy market. I don't think the market knew what to do with this new Mega series that was launching out. Obviously, it's going to be an abbreviated series. It's not going to be a whole long full booster box series like we traditionally have. So I think the market was just trying to feel it out a little bit. And as you can see, it kind of chopped its way all the way down to where it is today at $263. And if you look at the graph on the far right-hand side, it might continue to fall down just a little bit more. Maybe people are going to start focusing on the new set, the Charizard set, Phantasmal Flames. So maybe Mega Evolution will be a little bit more price appropriate here in a short amount of time. But again, it's just following the exact same pattern. Now, the other thing that I thought was interesting and we should talk about, because this is a big, big deal that sometimes doesn't get enough attention, is these brand new rarities that we have. Okay, so we have the Mega Evolution, we have the Mega Hyper Rare, the gold cards in here. And personally, I wasn't sure how the hobby was going to respond to them. I didn't know if people were going to love these cards or hate these cards. I think you have some great headliners for the first set. I think Mega Gardevoir, you got Mega Lucario, like, big name Pokemon, whole lot of fanfare behind it. But the biggest thing for me is when you look at these price points, they have both held very, very strong numbers. Even as the booster box price comes down just a little bit, these cards are ridiculous in terms of pricing. The Lucario is almost at $550. You got the Gardevoir, which is at $475. And again, a lot of times we see the Pokemon pop and flop. They go really, really high when a new set comes out, and then they crater for a period of like 3 or 4 months afterwards as more product is open and more singles hit the secondary market. But the market is just absorbing these. Yes, they've come down some in price, but not exactly what I had anticipated. And the big reason behind that is the pull rates for these are as bad as I have ever seen for any set recorded. Now, obviously, I don't know Sun and Moon pull rates or XY or anything like that, and you don't even want to talk about Gold Stars. Gold Stars back in the day were darn near impossible to pull. But for these new series that we're talking about, at least from Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet and the new Mega series, the pull rates of these cards are absolutely abysmal. The odds of pulling a specific one of these cards is about 1 in every 2,500 packs. To give you some comparison, when you think about the Umbreon card, right, from the special illustration rare from Prismatic Evolutions, the odds of pulling that is about 1 in every 1,500 packs. And think about how expensive that card is right now. And then you want to talk about the big dog from Sword and Shield era. The odds of pulling the Moonbreon, the biggest and the baddest from that entire era, from Evolving Cries, that VMAX alt art, was going for about 1 in every 2,000 packs. So when you add that into this factor, like, this is, I mean, it's measurably harder to pull versus that Umbreon card from Evolving Skies. And that just goes to show you that when we put a card like that with a pull rate so bad, with a character like Charizard, it is going to drive a ton of interest. So I think that is going to really, really help these booster boxes kind of maintain their value over the course of time. Now, these are the 3 big ones right here that we're going to talk about. So obviously the pre-releases have already started to come out. So I went on eBay today, this is Saturday afternoon, just to see what some of these are initially going for. And the prices are Looney Tunes. And that's what we expect. A lot of people are trying to get the very first ones. They rush them through to PSA. They want to be the first one to get the PSA 10s, put it on the market, and they sell it for a whole lot of money. Like, that is not anything we haven't seen in the past. But I do think some of these initial prices are absolutely wild. So the Mega Hyper Rare is going for $1,500 right now. now. The special illustration rare is going for $2,000, and even the ultra rare Charizard right there is going for about $230 on eBay. I do expect these prices to change pretty aggressively over the next couple days, but again, these things are commanding huge dollars, something that we have not seen in Mega Evolution simply because they're not Charizards, and we know that the Charizard is always going to have such a premium attached to it. But when you look at it, and this is the big thing that I want to talk about, so these are the top 10 cards in terms of value in the Mega Evolution set, and I thought this was really cool for us to call out. So obviously, you got the Mega Lucario EX, the special illustration rare, then you have the two hyper rares there to the left. All of these cards are commanding amazing prices, right? You got $275 for the special illustration rare, as I said, $475 and $550, you know, for the even rarer versions right there. So let's just say all three of those are covered up by those three Charizard cards that we just talked about. Now, obviously, I fully expect those three Charizard cards to command an even higher premium than the other ones, although we'll have to see what the ultra rare does. Like that one's, it'll depend on how easy they are to pull and how many of them end up in the secondary market. Phantasmal Flames, in the grand scheme of things, is a very small set, so it's just going to be interesting to see if the pull rates continue to be as bad for this set as we've seen for some of the other ones. But let's just cover up those three. Let's talk about the rest of the cards that are in this set. And when you think about it right here, when you're looking at Mega Evolution, I mean, that Mega Gardevoir special illustration rare card is absolutely stunning. I would love to have that in the personal collection for my girls. I think they would think it is just the most beautiful card in the world, but it's sitting at $250. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going out and spending $250 on a card right now, but the market is supporting it. Then look at the Mega Venusaur, right? That one is at $190. Then you got the Mega Latias right there. Like, just look at these cards right here. And think about the trainer down there, Lily's Determination. When you think about in the grand scheme of things, I just did a video on this the other day, your Lilies and your Misties, like those are the ones that are going to really command high value long into the future. So when you think about all of this, the Mega Evolution set is absolutely incredible. And you got Mega Kangaskhan down there, you got Absol, the list goes on and on. It's just an incredible set, super deep. But what do we have outside of the Charizards when we're thinking about Phantasmal Flames? It's not a nothing lineup. Like, I'm not knocking any of these Pokemon, but when you think about those special illustration rare cards that we're going to have to support it, you got Rotom up there, right? You got the Sharpedo, you got Lopunny and all of that. I just don't think that they hold a candle when you think about the Mega Venusaurs, when you think about a Mega Gardevoir, right? When you think about a Mega Latias, and what, Dawn is the trainer that we have for Phantasmal Flames. You can't even compare Lily and Dawn. Like, Lily is a far superior trainer when you think about market value and you think about supply and demand and popularity and all of that. So I am not knocking Phantasmal Flames. Matter of fact, there's another really cool card I wanted to talk about too, the Meowth, right? So this is a really cool card. It's going to be the first time we see it in English, right? It was a promo card overseas, but so there are going to be some really cool cards in Phantasmal Flames. But when you think about these two really cool sets, again, I think Mega Evolution from a depth perception has all the intangibles that you need to make this a really great set in the long run, yet it is still dropped down to that $260 price point. And then when you look at it again, the similarities are almost uncanny. Phantasmal Flames started off right at that $345, $350 mark. Again, as I said in the beginning, this is the same slide from the front. You know, it's dropped 10%. It's sitting down at about $309 right now. Is it going to make it down into the 260s, 250s? I don't know. As I always say, I don't have a crystal ball. But the biggest thing that I want you and everybody else out there is I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to freak out. I think Mega Evolution obviously is special in its own right, and I think Phantasmal Flames is special in its own right as well. But I think when you combine the wholes of both sets, they're both phenomenal, and they're both going to perform really well. So when you think about the way that Mega Evolution is performed right now, when you think about the way Destined Rival performed, and when you look at the way Phantasmal Flames is performing right now, I really think that you have a little bit of time to wait. I think that we can just kind of sit back and relax, pop our popcorn, watch everybody get all crazy over Phantasmal Flames here. But don't be afraid. If you see some signals in the pricing, and I'll try and be, you know, as forthcoming as I can if I notice something happening, like if you start to see some changes and you start to get a little worried that you're missing out, another big takeaway from me is look at Destined Rivals. Like, even if you had bought it at pre-release price at $350, even if you FOMO'd out of your mind and you're like, I just got to have it, I'm gonna sleep better at night knowing I have a case of it, I can totally relate to that, to be honest. If you just wanted to do that, it's still at $381 right now. It is still up above that pre-release price. And I promise you, I have a very, very strong feeling that 3 to 5 years from now, Phantasmal Flames is going to be way over the $300 price point, no matter what happens in the market. Obviously, things are getting a little soft right now and things are changing. And I do think in the next 3 years, the supply and demand curve is going to get fixed. And I think products will actually be available at MSRP, but we're a long ways from there. This set is special, and I don't see that, that demand curve changing anytime soon. So with all that being said, again, really sad that we don't have our normal set of data for this week, but really excited. It gave us an opportunity to talk about Phantasmal Flames booster boxes. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you had a lot of fun along the way. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And if you do all those things, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go such a long way in helping my small channel out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.